Coaches Gene Cady for Purdue and Lon Kruger, the 35-year-old second-year head coach at his alma mater, Kansas State. Alley-oop. It works. Todd Mitchell. And our score is 14-8 at 15:38 to go. These two teams have played once prior this season. They played back in December. Purdue blew out Kansas State 101-72. Will Scott for Richmond misses the three-pointer. And now the Purdue Boilermakers come into this game 29-3, the number 1 seed in the region, and a foul on Charles Bledsoe, number 32 in purple.
Well, Purdue is so capable of scoring inside with Melvin McCants and Todd Mitchell, and you really don't know who to cheat on. Everybody, the only guy that can really kind of cheat on is Kip Jones, who's being replaced right now by Steve Scheffler, and this is Gene Cady's version of Twin Towers, and I mean, they are big.
Todd Mitchell back to Everett Stevens, and a quick pass in the corner to Tony Jones, who just came in. Up. Stevens decided to pass in mid-jump, and his teammates weren't expecting it.
Well, he had the wide-open shot, and Steve Scheffler just went to get the good offensive rebounding position, which is what he should have done. Stevens should have taken the shot.
Steve Henson for Kansas State. Ron Meyer will set the lineups for you now. Underneath to the star of the K-State team, Richmond for two.
Now, this is a man that absolutely has to have a big offensive night. Richmond has got to really get inside this defense, and he's got the great leaping ability, as you see right here, but he is also an outstanding outside shooter. Right now, Purdue has Todd Mitchell trying to defend against him, and that's a tough job.
Richmond will try and make it a three-point play. Does not. Stevens with the rebound. 14-10. A 10-0 Purdue start. They come in 29-3. Kansas State 24-8. Runners up to Oklahoma in the Big 8, trying to join Kansas in the final game here on Sunday.
A 3-2 zone by Kansas State right now. That was very effective against the ball in their last win.
Couple of subs in the game for Purdue, but we'll set the lineup that's on there. Tony Jones, a sophomore, in the corner to Mitchell. Now Scheffler back to Everett Stevens. And the other man is McCants, who has the ball for the turnaround jumper. It's good.
They are really effective at getting that ball inside against man-to-man or zone defenses.
And for K-State, Henson, Ron Meyer is the center. Number 11, Buster Glover, has come on the bench. He's joined by Mitch Richmond, number 23, Charles Bledsoe. And now Troy Lewis comes back in the lineup for Purdue, one of the senior tri-captains. And Fred McCoy comes in, number 44 for K-State.
Well, this has been a furious few minutes of this ball game, and Lon Kruger doesn't want Meyer to end up getting some tired fouls.
Buster Glover, one of 7 junior college transfers on the team. Here's another, Mitch Richmond from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. What a mid-air adjustment. He'll go to the free throw line again.
I'll tell you, he is an amazing player. And in the prior games we've seen him play, he's been under control, but I think he knows tonight he's really got to produce, and he's going to take it to the hoop. Now, Mitchell, pretty good defensive player, but probably the best defensive player for a forward on the Purdue squad is Kip Jones.
And number 23, Richmond shooting 2.
Mitchell goes out. Ryan Burning, the sophomore, number 15, comes in. Richmond at the free throw line. He is really one of the underpublicized stars of college basketball. Hoop freaks know about it.
He was a junior college transfer to K-State, and that kind of hurts you in the publicity department. And then he's been up against Danny Manning and some of the other great players in his conference, but he is a bona fide great player.
16-12, 13:51 to go first half.
They're playing a box and one against Lewis, trying to keep the ball away from him, and it's been pretty effective so far.
Richmond jumps way up in the air for the rebound, but he's on the line. It'll be Purdue's ball to inbound.
Lon Kruger's idea of stopping Purdue is first get to Troy Lewis, because he is their outside shooting guy, and when he gets it going, the rest of them have a comfort zone. They feel that they can win the ball game.
Back to Tony Jones, sophomore. Ryan Burning, he's been bothered by back spasms about 5 out of the last 6 games, but he does have that soft jumper and pretty good range.
He sure does. And with that outside shot, he is going to burn him in this defense.
The Richmond shot, no. And here comes Purdue in transition. Tony Jones pulls up. It was a 3-on-3 break. Steve Scheffler, whom Gene Keady says is the most improved player on his squad. Lewis peeks inside from the camps. Pretty good defense by K-State. McCants, Scheffler mistimes the leap. Bledsoe rebound, Kansas State.
The shot will be there all night long for Ryan Burning. He ought to be taking them.
Will Scott, off-balance shot, tip no good. K-State rebound is good, and the foul shot. Fred McCoy gets 2. Here's a man who was a starter earlier in the season. He had 14 points the last time these two teams played, and has lost his spot to Ron Meyer recently.
Well, Ron Meyer is a very solid senior with a lot of experience. This man has probably more athletic ability, a better leaper than Meyer, and that's what they're going to need in this game. Some beef under there and guys that can climb on the board.
Subs coming back in. Everett Stevens, who had 2 3-pointers to start the game for Purdue, is back in the lineup. Gene Keady loved that because Stevens has been in a slump. Burning is out, Mitchell back in. And for K-State, keeping track of all this, Mitch Dobbins, number 41, is in the lineup. And Bledsoe goes out.
Needless to say, both teams use a lot of people, mainly for tempo purposes, to try and make sure that there's some fresh players the tail end of this game. But Keady uses his players really because he believes they can produce.
Lewis, 3-pointer rims out. McCoy is fouled by Scheffler.
Troy Lewis is trying to get on track, but there is a man in his face no matter where he goes on the court. There's lots of other openings to go to right now, and Katie's kind of talking to him saying, hey, let's not force anything.
18-14. Tommy, just to give an overview, K-State would like to keep the tempo slowed down.
Well, they want to take the fast break away from Purdue, and they have to do that with good offensive rebound.
Lewis, it'll be Purdue's ball.
And also, by getting back very quickly, if Purdue does get the rebound. They showed very well that they can do that in the DePaul contest when they really kind of shut down Rod Strickland.
In that game, they played a 3-2 zone throughout and controlled the tempo of the game and won it, the second-round game in South Bend last week. Winner of our game plays Kansas in the final here Sunday. Lewis finally gets the 3-pointer. He tried about 4.
They took off the box and won, and they just were playing a straight 3-2 zone, and that allowed Lewis to get open in that corner.
Back to a 7-point Bulls for the Boilermakers. Steve Henson, the sophomore from McPherson, Kansas, guarded by Everett Stevens.
And Purdue will go man-to-man. If they change the zone, it will be a surprise.
Mitchell on Richmond. The tip from McCoy is good. Quick outlet pass. Here comes Purdue.
Well, McCoy and Richmond are quick leapers.
Mitchell turnaround. McCoy rebound. Kansas State ball. A basket here would get them as close as it has been since the opening moments. Will Scott, who hit 7 of 8 3-pointers in the win over DePaul. Henson for 3. Got it.
That's his shot, too. They've got Henson and Scott, 2 excellent 3-pointers.
In the last 8 minutes, K-State has shaved 8 points off the deficit. And another foul underneath. Purdue scored the first 10 points of this ball game, and K-State has chipped away. They're back to 21-19. Kansas won the first game behind Danny Manning's 38 points on 16 of 29 shooting. Purdue meets the winner, and they're in the bracket with Duke and Temple, who play tomorrow on CBS in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
What a show by Danny Manning here in this first game.
25 points at halftime, and he and the Kansas Jayhawks are gathering now to watch the rest of this one. Scheffler misses.
This player is probably the one that's come the furthest for his ball club this year. He's kind of got the footwork down, and a guy as muscular as he is has really learned how to use that beef and spreads out. He takes up a lot of space inside.
Well, you take a look at him, it won't surprise you that he turned down a football scholarship to the University of Michigan. And Scheffler is out. Melvin McCants comes back in. Here's a man who's been on a tear in the last 6 games, Melvin McCants.
And Purdue will throw a press at you every once in a while, and you better be able to handle it.
Mark Dobbins to Mitch Richmond.
What a challenge for Todd Mitchell to be playing Richmond. That's a duel.
In the previous meeting between these two, he did a wonderful job on him and held Richmond to his season lowest, second lowest point total of 14. Here's Richmond. Nice arch.
Boy, couldn't have played it any better, but Richmond has the ability to jump over almost anybody.
Lead is only 1. McCants and McCoy going at it in the battle on the baseline. Well, they finally got him, and McCoy's going to get the foul. I mean, that looked like WrestleMania down there.
That's beef against beef, without a bun. Look at this going, and McCoy's just trying to knock his arm out of the way so he can step out in front. You know, you're entitled to be able to spread your arms out, but not too wide. And that's where they kind of get a little mixed up every once in a while, the officials, as to what is legit and what's not.
22-21 as we approach the midway point of the first half.
Kansas State took a big haymaker in that early part of this ball game and just hung in there. Was on the ropes for a little while, but hung in there beautifully.
Todd Mitchell over McCoy. And Mitchell limps a little bit as he heads back down. 9:45 to go first half, 24-21. Purdue typically now has 3 players with 6 points each. Here's McCoy jumping in over McCants, gave him a little elbow.
Boy, he sure did, and McCants just backed out of his way a little bit to avoid the foul.
2-pointer. Everett Stevens. That has got to warm Gene Katie's heart because Everett Stevens, one of the 3 seniors, has really been slumping in the tournament.
Yeah, and he told them in the last ball game, hey, listen, I want you to go out there and play like you do in the playground in Chicago. Let it fly, pal. And he sure has come out here today, this evening, and has been looking for his shot, and he's been very effective.
Mitchell gets his second foul of the first half. Time on the court, 9:09 to go first half. The Purdue lead is 3. 3-point Purdue lead with 9:09 to go first half. That's a 3-point lead out of what was once a 10-point lead. In the West and Southeast, Arizona and Iowa getting ready to start. The winner of that game meets North Carolina in the Kingdome in Seattle on Sunday. Oklahoma and Villanova will play from the Southeast Regional Final tomorrow in Birmingham on CBS. And we want to remind our viewers in Chicago, Louisville, and the states of Kansas and Indiana, they'll be leaving us in a few minutes to see Iowa versus Arizona. You'll be kept up to date on the progress of this game with scoring reports and highlights. Set the lineups now for K-State. They've got McCoy still in there, Bledsoe, Hinson, Will Scott, and Mitch Richmond. And for Purdue, Troy Lewis, Melvin McCants, Kip Jones, Everett Stevens, and Tony Jones. Will Scott.
I got Tony Jones defending against Richmond, and if he gets his hands on the ball, he ought to be able to go over the top of him.
Now that's 6'5" against 6'3". Mitchell is on the bench with 2 fouls. McCoy. Rebound Richmond, he's fouled. No, foul goes the other way.
Kansas State is very, very quick to the boards. And I think Purdue right now is getting beaten speed-wise and blocking out on the board.
8:30 to go, first half, 26-23. Ron Meyer getting ready to come back in for Lon Kruger's Kansas State outfit. Lewis, 3-pointer, his second of the ball game.
Well, that box and one really contained Lewis. Right now, he's finding some openings, and they're delivering the ball out the letters, and he is a quick shooter.
Ron Meyer, who for the last 12 games has replaced Fred McCoy as the starter, replaces him now in the lineup. Meyer, a senior, 29-23.
McCoy did a very effective job while he was in there.
Bledsoe underneath, kicks it back out. Will Scott for three. Tip is good.
Oh, what a play.
You liked it.
Oh, and no guard is going to block him out. Tony Jones will have no chance.
That shot good for three. Lewis.
Lon Kruger's strategy is starting to slip away on Lewis. He's getting his fingers warmed up.
What had been a 10-point lead was cut to 1. Now it's back to 7. 7:20 to go, first half. Juan Meyer. Rebound Stevens, Purdue in transition.
You don't pick up fouls with fall-away jumpers.
Tony Jones doesn't score much and doesn't score this time. And Henson will slow down the pace. Looks over at Lon Kruger. Henson was Lon Kruger's first recruit from McPherson, and he kind of plays in his image. Lon Kruger was a two-time Player of the Year at Kansas State back in the mid-'70s. Oh, what a tip. A little luck involved.
It sure was. That was one of those tips from about the belt. That is all luck.
Lewis. McCants. Purdue out of bounds. Take a look at Mitch Richmond at the K-State end.
Here comes a long outside shot for the lefty of screen. Tony Jones does not even think about blocking him out. Just lets Richmond go over the top. He can sky.
32-27, 6:22 to go, first half. Purdue ball again.
Boy, quick double team that time by Henson. They took away the outside shot by Troy Lewis, and Henson got right back down in on McCann.
Hey, it's a testimony to the discipline of the K-State team, Tommy, that when they did fall behind by 10, no panic at all.
Sure, great poise to withstand a great rush. I mean, Purdue was very motivated coming out of the box.
That foul away from the ball on Melvin McCants, that's his first, and it's the team sixth.
Foul number 35, McCants, his first.
Second Purdue turnover. 6:10 to go, first half. Our viewers on the West Coast, Iowa, South Dakota, and Minnesota will be leaving us momentarily to see Iowa against Arizona. You'll be kept up to date on the progress of this game with scoring reports and highlights.
All right, so you heard it from Vern Lundquist. We will be keeping you up to date on this Purdue-Kansas State ball game. At the moment, 10 teams still alive in the tournament. 6 spots have been filled in the field of 8. We have 2 more games, of course, 2 more spots up for grabs tonight. Now, coming up in just a few minutes from Seattle, the second game in the West Regional out there. Iowa.
Important when you talk about chemistry of a ball club. And last year, with Kerr out of the lineup, everybody, as I said, had to slide over at an uncomfortable position. This year, with him back, they have been really one of the outstanding teams from the very outset, right up in Alaska, right here to the day.
They met in December, a 6-point win by Arizona. That was back in Iowa City. So the Hawkeyes in their traveling dark jerseys. Jones and Horton play catch. BJ ships it on back. Now Marble 23. So everybody touches the ball on their first trip down the floor.
Both of these teams love to get on the foul line. They're playing with an open offense, no postman.
Marble's first miss, and that is Tolbert rebounding for the Wildcats. Purdue leading Kansas State by 3. That's in the Midwest. The winner to take on Kansas on Sunday afternoon. Here's the star, Elliott, missing everything, but Tolbert with an offensive rebound.
Uses the body nicely against Horton.
Mo.
One of the great streak shooters in America. He's got to get it going early.
Hawkeyes battle to save it.
Jones with the rebound there. Brent has played every position on the floor for Iowa this year except center. Zone defense.
Armstrong, 3 points.
court pressure, 1-2, 1-1.
This is McMillan. He has not shot as well this year for Arizona as he did in a previous season. Underrated player. Double O has it now. Cook on to turn. Short, and the Hawks come out moving. They'd like to get into an up-tempo game. Here comes Armstrong. Gives it to Horton. A follow not there. Iowa can't put down the field goal, and the foul underneath as McMillan comes out with the first personal of the game.
Boy, you talk about a double clutch on that move by Armstrong. He went right by everybody. Dr. Tom.
Look at that distribution there in the front court.
Well, they shut down the Soviet Union front court with only 4 points. That's saying a lot.
Here's Moe. Short on the three. McMillan into the hands of Steve Kerr. Kerr with only 34 turnovers in 35 games. The pass to Cook for the field goal. Anthony Cook.
A reverse spin on that ball to put it in. They're going to attack this press. I would much more play against a team that tries to be passive against it.
Armstrong. Underneath. Foul goes against Marble.
I think it's going to be Elliott pushing Marble.
Elliott pushing off? You bet.
Elliott's wiry, strong. That upper body of his doesn't have a lot of bulk to it, but he's worked on the weights and he has really developed the strength.
That's the Hawkeyes. Lute Olson wanted a travel call on that pass.
Tough shot. Hard to make.
Missing up over the top of Kerr. Jones.
Trent, it's hard to make that jump shot when you're using the pump fake and the head fake. It's just going straight up as Armstrong did. It's off balance. Going right over the top of the press.
Tolbert wants it in the paint. Elliott goes out after it, and the foul against Iowa. Going to go against Horton.
You can see that if Iowa doesn't create some turnovers in the open court area, which is so tough against this Arizona team, they're really going to have a size problem inside rebounding-wise.
Davis goes to the bench, and Michael Reeves at guard will check in. He'll also use Kent Hill. And Horton sits down right now along with Moe.
Now Iowa is really small.
Kerr's and ran in by Cook.
Back in the zone, 2-3 zone. It's going to be tougher out to get any offensive boards against this defense.
Look at that Arizona bench across the way. Everybody deeply into this one. Reeves with a pass on the inside to Hill.
Brent, nobody uses the interior bounce pass like Tom Davis's teams. That's the second one on McMillan. And you saw a great play by Reeves putting that ball on the floor. And you think back in those Boston College days when Dr. Tom had those great teams. Everybody put that bounce pass down. When he was at Stanford, Lute Olson never beat him there. Of course, Olson had a tough time at Stanford this year.
One of the two losses suffered by Arizona, both on the road. The other one was at the pit in Albuquerque to New Mexico.
It was one of the finest basketball games of the year, crowd-wise and the way that game was played.
Yeah, that's a great pass. There's that teamwork. Tolbert, the open man, coming in from the other side.
With Dr. Tom, you got to scratch your head a little bit because they have to press, but Arizona really eating it up.
Marble, and out comes McMillan. Elliott. Tolbert going for the rebound, and the foul is called. That's his first. And the team's fourth.
Elliott's upset with himself for missing that jumper. I think his problem was he wasn't sure to pull up the jumper to take it all the way to the basket.
So Tom Davis again shuffling his players. He sends Moe back into the game. Reeves stays out there. B.J. Armstrong gets a quick breather here in the opening moments of this game. Horton has returned. Marble is out there. Marble is 23.
Brett Mason gets into the ball game for McMillan, who had those 2 fouls on him, so that's the first change for Lute Olson. Mason's moved ahead of Lofton in that lineup.
Mason wearing 44 here in this zone. Marble. Hot night from him would keep the Hawks close, Billy.
Yeah, he's a great all-around performer. Second team All-Big Ten. This is such a small team. They've got to create turnovers in the open court. And with Kerr, that's so tough.
Elliott again. So he starts out cold. Reeves battling Cook. Arizona's ball. So Purdue with a 9-point lead. They routed Kansas State earlier this season. BJ quickly checks back in. He travels.
Colbert feels like he's open in there because I'm not surprised that he thinks that he can score because the guys playing against him are 6'4" and 5. A little over anxious.
Elliott taking Marble.
Playing good perimeter defense against this jump shot. Moe would like to take one.
Marble on the outside. And foul underneath on the shot.
What you're seeing early here is Iowa has to do everything they can with their body to try to get some rebounds.
Now Lute Olson with a little strategy. We'll have a timeout and be right back. They want him to play this year. They'll want him next year. He'll be better and stronger. He's in a good program. It can't hurt him. And a college degree isn't going to hurt him either. Elliott handling the ball right here. He has started off cold tonight. He's 0 for 3. But in off the bench with his first field goal is Harvey Mason. Welcome those of you who are watching Purdue beat Kansas State at the half right now. Iowa with the ball in their dark road uniforms, trailing Arizona 11-8. Arizona the top seed in the West. Already Arizona has beaten Iowa City. Offensive foul against Horton. That's his second.
Smart play by Tolbert coming over on what is the weak side of that zone. Good job.
Now a summation of the game reveals that Arizona shooting 43 and Iowa very cold right now. This Arizona team is a great 5-man squad. Here's their leader, Steve Kerr, only those 34 turnovers in 35 games. He sets the table for Lute Olson. Elliott, 32, is the star, and that was a bad cross-court pass that time by the substitute, Harvey Mason.
The first time in his ball game that they have not been able to beat the press, and this is what Iowa needs. Create some turnovers with their defense.
They're down by 3 now, looking for a moment with their star, Roy Marble, checks back in. Now, Marble started off the season poorly, but he's worked hard on his perimeter shot. He was out early yesterday, shooting for a good 45 minutes. They would like to get him in the rhythm.
Horton came up, tried to set a screen that time. They're trying to free some outside shooting for Moe or Armstrong.
They get it down on the inside to Horton.
There's nothing available inside, and Moe so far has not been able to get an outside shot.
So on the traveling turnover, here comes Arizona again. Mason, who was the first guard off the bench, replacing McMillan, one of their starters. Anthony Cook, 00, is down on the inside. Kerr bangs up a miss, rebounded by Jones.
For a great three-point shooter, Brent, but that was beyond NBA range.
Iowa not shooting well at all here at the start of this game.
Well, they have no inside game that can score. Therefore, they're out on the perimeter, and Arizona realizes that, so they're just playing that perimeter shot so tough.
3 of 13, going to that familiar defense of Tom Davis. That full court pressure. He used it at Boston College, employed it at Stanford. Even up at high school ball up in Wisconsin. Tolbert, the center of the Wildcats, and he has scored 6 points here in the first half, and it's 13-8 Wildcats. Marble, maneuvering, had to ship it back, and here's B.J. Armstrong. And he faced pressure from Mason, who jumped out. And ball goes over.
You know, the overall team size of Arizona, Brent, when you figure that Kerr at 6'3", smallest guy out there, and Elliott at about 6'7", comes at you in that zone, it's tough to get a shot off.
Michael Reeves got a shot at him. He's checked back in, wears number 11 for the Hawkeyes. Elliott comes across the timeline. Tolbert's a good outside shooter, their pivot man. You'll see him roam. Now here is Cook, their underrated player. Couldn't get that one to fall for him, and out comes B.J. Armstrong on the move. Quickly to Reeves. And it's stopped. It'll go over.
Reeves never could get in balance when he came down after making that catch.
On the alternating possession is Arizona's ball.
You see Reeves putting it in there. Now, in the old days, this would have been a jump ball situation, and now with the alternating possession, it'll be turning back over to Arizona.
For the Wildcats, he replaces
Joe Turner putting his goggles on. He wears number 33. He replaces Cook here for Lee Olson. They find Tolbert. And a foul called against Arizona. The winner of the Oklahoma-Villanova game will play the winner of the North Carolina and the winner of this game.
Changing that defense a little bit now, playing a 1-3-1 with Kerr running that baseline.
Marble.
Quick whistle in this game, Brent.
Yeah, there have been quick whistles all along. Louis Grillo, the referee, Nolan Fine, Jack Hannon, the umpires.
A very interesting thing about both of these clubs, which you don't see very often, both of them have made more free throws than their opponents have shot this year, which means they really go inside a lot.
Mason trying to come out, and Reeves runs it down for Iowa.
And now Arizona goes man-to-man. On Armstrong.
Armstrong had it on the inside.
Turner overcommitted that time. He having a small man in there, he didn't have to commit so soon. He could have had a blocked shot.
Stepped over and back, and they didn't see it.
Well, that's because the ball had not yet come over, so it wasn't a backcourt.
Elliott.
Dr. Tom doesn't want to see him get untracked.
Armstrong run down by Reeves.
Arizona changes those defenses frequently, so you really have to be on your toes as to what you're going up against. Double teaming in the corners.
Boy, Arizona moves well on defense.
Sure do,
They
don't
do
they?
not give you much time.
They're holding their opponents to 42% shooting.
And they don't give you second shots down there either. They run down those rebounds.
The other thing that's tough to press them is that everybody on their team can catch the ball coming back to help out. There's always an open passing lane.
Moving well without the ball. Here's Tolbert coming around for the field goal.
Tolbert, a transfer from UC Irvine. Amazing how Lute Olson has put this club together in a very short period of time. Nice turn.
And it was a good move by Horton for the field goal. to play that up-tempo style, try to get him in a helter-skelter game, but it's so tough to force turnovers from this Arizona team. Big Tolbert crashing in. Foul called. That's his second.
Tolbert had an easy little jump shot from the dotted line area, but instead tried to go one step too far.
So it's a 5-point Arizona lead. We'll be right back. It's 5, pacing the Hawkeyes scores. Nobody else with more than 2. And Iowa not shooting well here tonight in the first half.
But they're back to the 1-3-1 zone, and Lofton in the ball game for the first time now. He's running down on the baseline. This is about the 4th different defense they've used so far, and every one of them has been played very, very well. They said the ball was tipped, but I didn't see it tipped by anybody.
Armstrong's open to the 3. Didn't stay in for him. Hawkeyes can't get the ball to fall here in the first half.
I really think the key's got to be Mo to open up a little bit with his jump shot. He hadn't been able to get anything free.
Doesn't matter who it is. They're only hitting 26%.
Now they go back to man-to-man. Good screen.
So they get low to Horton and snapped away by Cook.
Of course, Brent, if you don't hit, you can't set up your press, so that's hurt Iowa both ways.
Elliott stopped and fouled.
Number 24, Michael Morgan, is first.
Morgan showed some pretty good foot quickness that time staying with Elliott. Elliott usually gets by a man when he makes that move. Oh, great pump fake. So they cover that perimeter well.
Lofton. Armstrong gets it back, and Cook knocks it out of bounds.
Iowa ball out of bounds.
Brent Cook knocked that ball out of bounds when he was deployed defensively about 3 feet from the basket. Shows you how quick he is.
Iowa has scored only 4 points in the last 7 minutes, and Davis runs in another group of subs. Marble trying to get the pass down along the baseline, knocked out of bounds.
Even if you get it in down along that baseline, you're going to be double and triple teamed on the inside, so they've got to figure out a way to get some balls over to the weak side, get some jump shots off.
Horton coming down. And Jones, the scorer, 4 for him.
Mo tried to get a fake call.
Cook. That's the first on Marble.
It's early in this ball game, Brent, and the score is relatively close, but you really sense that Iowa is very much overmatched in this game. They're staying with it is just with good aggressive play.
His first personal.
That was a great move by Elliott not to draw the charge as he used his shoulder to spin out of there.
Anthony Cook at the line. One shot. Substitutes for Iowa, number 11, Michael Reeves, and number 3, Kent Hill.
There's that double team in the corner. Just about every zone they use will double team when they get down the corner. You just can't get the pass out.
Arizona forces the turnover. Lofton will bring it back out. Cook loses the handle, and Kerr goes diving for it.
played every position on the floor. That time showed why he's capable of playing in the backcourt. Excellent dribble move to the inside.
Armstrong returns.
Jones this year was the MVP of the Amana tournament. Kind of like Iowa's home base tournament, which they always win, or just about.
It's on 0-0. Anthony Cook, his first personal.
So Dr. Tom's disciples, Kevin Mackey at Cleveland State, and Gary Williams, are not doing a bad job either in the coaching ranks.
Jones, 2 shots.
Force a turnover with the press. Reeves.
Often using good judgment there. He was last year's point guard. Colbert.
Jones. They're traveling. We're at the Kingdome in Seattle. Billy Packer, I'm Brent Musburger. It's 24-17, 5:30 to go, first half. Winner to beat North Carolina Sunday.
Brent Hill in the game reminds me a little bit of Peter Woolfolk, the fellow that played so well for Richmond. Easy pass right over the defense. Things Iowa could be thinking about is putting somebody on the foul line against this defense to force Cook to be a little bit more honest, as Cook is roaming all over in the basement.
Offensive rebound by Hill. And another one.
It is Peter Woolfolk. That's just exactly what he did. Of course, they met their match yesterday. Temple Club a little bit too good for him.
Kerr's three. Push off underneath against Arizona.
You know, Kerr shooting 60%
Look at that.
from that three-point line, huh?
Kansas State comes back.
How about that? Kruger's club, it's an incredible year that he's had. Finished second, strong second in the Big Eight. When we saw Oklahoma, we know what that means. And what a turnaround. What was that, a 29-point win for Purdue earlier in the year against that same Kansas State team?
9 at the half, I believe. Purdue was ahead, so they've turned that around. This could be a night of disaster for the Big Ten. They've lost Michigan. Iowa trails here 26-19, and now Purdue has fallen behind Kansas State.
And Brett, there'd be nothing on the line in the state of Kansas if that was a regional championship. Kansas State.
35, Jed Bushler now in the lineup for the Wildcats.
Jed Bushler checks in for the Wildcats.
Jones only a 62% free throw shooter. Could be a lot better.
So we got a timeout with 4:16 to go. Arizona leads the Hawkeyes by 5%, and Iowa 30%. What are you seeing here, Mr. Packer?
No, I think that Iowa's doing a great job just staying in this ball game. As small as they are inside, Arizona has not been able to get one of their patented moves, one of those explosive bursts that they have offensively, as they had against Southern Cal. So that ball game, 27-2 run they had in that one. Kerr hasn't been hitting anything, but that's his first three. When you shoot 60%, eventually you're going to hit one. So tough to defend this team, Brent. They have the inside game as well as the good perimeter game. You have to give up something.
The summary in the front court, Arizona outscoring Iowa. Kerr 1 of 4, and you just saw the one. Marble maneuvering triple team, so he gets from low for the three, and Iowa's shooting problems continue. Now the Wildcats come out quickly, they fill the lanes, and Lofton wisely gets it back to Kerr. In return pass, and he hits the three. Armstrong pulls up.
That's what Iowa has to do, try to strike quickly, because in their half-court set, they just can't get any inside game going. And you look at these teams are 100-point type clubs, and we're down here, Brent, at halftime under 40. In the case of Iowa, under 30.
Purdue regains the lead.
Smart play by Tolbert. Saw that Reeves was matched up with Elliott, just went right over the top of the press. Kerr with that NBA-type range and that three-pointer really extends the defense.
Horton popped out well, and here come the Hawkeyes with an advantage, and Lofton gets it back. Talk about an unselfish team. They came down with a manpower advantage, and 4 different players touched the ball.
Brett, they all could have taken the shot. Just got it over to the key man, Elliott. Whistler really plays an active zone down in the baseline.
Oh, this quickness Lofton's generating. That's a
Left hand.
great defensive move. Run here over the last 3 minutes. Armstrong's
Three-point shot by P.J. Armstrong.
Kushner that time playing in the 1-3-1, got a little bit too active, thinking the ball was going down inside.
Kerr off the fake.
Not hitting it.
Tolbert has it knocked away, and the Hawkeyes come out on the move, but they lose it. They have been sorry, haven't they? And they get it right back. Easy 4-on-1 field goal.
Kerr, he has to be about 1 for 6 right now. 1 for 4 from the three-point line. Elliott wanting 3.
Basket by Sean Elliott.
And Iowa comes right back. They strike the floor at Marble. Marble has 6 points here this half. And off the turnover, they cut it down. And now 38-32.
Coming back, here's Vern Lundquist and Tommy Heinsohn in Pontiac, Michigan.
Welcome those of you who've been watching the Arizona-Iowa game. We have 11:24 remaining here. Tied at 54. Arizona leads Iowa in the first half. Another three-pointer, this one by Richmond. And Kansas State with its largest lead of the game now, 57-54. K-State opened the second half with a 12-1 run to overcome a 9-point halftime deficit. They took their first lead at 46-44, and we've gone back and forth ever since.
One 3-1 zone now by Kansas State.
This is really the first time in the tournament a #1 seed has been threatened. We'll take it back for more of this game at halftime of Iowa-Arizona. But right now, let's go back to Brent and Billy.
50 seconds left. Iowa with an impressive performance here. Defensively, they can force the steal so quickly and start a string. Now watch this full court press here with the seconds ticking away in the first half. They get into Elliott's hands. There's that defense again, almost forcing a turnover off the pass.
Shot clock is off by about 3 seconds, Brent, so they can hold it all the way to the end, but they can take it right down to the wire, which would be smart. Wouldn't give Iowa but 3 seconds if they could get it down that far to get a shot off. Here's a clear out for Elliott.
Quick stolen by B.J. Armstrong. The Hawkeyes are coming back.
But that was a smart play by Armstrong because he anticipated the reverse dribble. Take a look here. See Armstrong, he anticipated that Elliott on the clear out would try his reverse dribble and went all the way in for the score. That's a great comeback by Iowa.
They close to within 4 with an 11-2 run, 38-34. And our coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship continues after this message and a word.
5 for three-pointers. He's 17 of 24 in the tournament. The Wildcats of K-State went on a 12-1 run to open this half, and they took their first lead of the game, 46-44. Seesawed until the last couple of minutes when K-State has assumed control. Here's the injury again.
Right in the stomach. Oh, that'll knock the wind out of you for about 10 minutes.
Oh, that's right below the ribcage.
Oh.
So Henson, who rarely sits down, averages about 38.5 minutes a game, will rest now.
The guy that's been outstanding for Kansas State is Richmond. He's been unbelievable inside and outside, and here's the press by Purdue, and K-State beats it easily.
64-57, 7:15 to go. Purdue, the #1 seed in the Midwest, 29-3 for the year. Kansas State, 24-8. Back on December 20th, Purdue knocked off Kansas State by 29 points at home in West Lafayette. Lon Kruger said that was the low point of our season. Richmond leans in. Boy, he's learned that shot.
Boy, a lean in, a little up fake, and you couldn't have played it any better than Mitchell. But not to be denied, Richmond, he's having a day, a week, a month, a career.
26 points for Richmond. He's been over 37 times in his 2-year career at K-State. He's a junior college transfer from Fort Lauderdale. Lewis thinks about the three. Glover comes out on him. Shot good before the shot. Don Shea is the official. There's Mitch Richmond. Moberly Junior College. Broke the all-time single-season scoring record this year. That was held previously by Bob Boozer.
25, Tony Jones in for Purdue.
That was a long time ago, boy. Here's his last shot. Good up fake, and then leans in. If Mitchell had held his ground, they probably would have called an offensive foul on Richmond. But Mitchell is very reluctant to pick up, what is it, his 4th foul? No, he just backed off.
Troy Lewis at the line, cuts the lead to 8.
The inside game of Purdue has just not produced like it has in prior games in this tournament. McCants is just not having a good shooting night.
McCants 1 of 5, Tommy, in the second half.
They had lots of opportunities.
Beat the press with ease.
Yep. Found the open man, lots of poise. The traps didn't work. Didn't bother anybody.
Temple, the number 1 seed in the East, is in the round of 8. Oklahoma, the number 1 seed in the Southeast, is in the round of 8. Arizona leads in the West at halftime, and Purdue's in trouble here. Dobbins. Purdue ball.
Well,
Purdue right
in the
now.
NCAA tournament. Another element that teams can rely on is emotion, and Kansas State is riding high on emotion right now.
All right, we'll keep everyone posted on this game as it goes to the wire. Should Kansas State hold on, it would set up a 4th matchup this year between Kansas and Kansas State. Kansas State has beaten Kansas 2 of the 3.
So here they come with Armstrong and Jones and Moe out there. Knocked away. Tolbert forces the turnover. Kerr handling. Into the hands of McMillan, who went out early with 2 personal fouls. So Lute Olson comes back with his starting 5 here to start the second half.
Great man-to-man by Iowa. You know, Arizona had more turnovers and assists in that first half. You don't see that happen to them very
Elliott fires up a miss, and the Hawkeyes rebound and come down quickly. DJ short on the jump shot. Tolbert muscling his way out of there, and the foul goes against Iowa. That on Jones would be his first personal foul of the game. No one in serious foul trouble there. The Hawkeyes over with Arizona. Turner 2, McMillan 2, Tolbert 2, and Cook 2. So quickly, Hill checks back in for Coach Davis. Long pass to McMillan, who breaks free. He is pushed by
Oh,
Hill.
it goes. Oh, he's going to call it intentional. Now, there's the call, Brent, we had in the first game. Not a lot of difference between what took place in the play. One called intentional and one not, and you can remember how upset Joe Frieder was. Could be McMillan's first 2. Didn't score in the first half, did he?
Did not.
Got those fouls, picked up on him early, and sat down a good portion of the first half. Known as McClutch for the great shooting that he had 2 years ago in the Pac-10. Arizona won the title. They're not looking for his jumper.
But McMillan is. The home run.
Well, Iowa had to give up something, and they gave up an opportunity to guard McMillan. Looks like Coach Olson got on these boys a little bit there at halftime because they've come out much more aggressively here in their defense.
Be some upset if Kansas State can hold on. Armstrong. Jones cleans up.
Elliott trying to say that he was pushed under the basket, but that was just a good rebound by Jones. Again, the trap's got to go over the top.
Tolbert. Into the arms of Elliott. And he did not put it away, but Tolbert draws the foul.
That was really a 3-on-5 because Iowa had 2 of their players flat on the floor.
Foul. Number 14, Bill Jones. That's his second personal foul.
You know, you get the feeling that Arizona lost a little of their concentration when they picked up that big lead and that good run they had right before the first half, and they've had a hard time getting it back.
Kerr. There's his shot. Goaltending called.
Cook has 75 blocked shots this year, but he did get that one on the way down. Reeves coming on into the ball game.
Number 14, Bill Jones, now in the lineup for Iowa.
All right, we're going to get you back to Arizona, Iowa, but a real close game going on between Kansas State and Purdue. Let's take it out of that Midwest Regional semifinal game. Vern Lundquist and Tommy Heinsohn for the finish.
Richmond rims out, foul underneath. We welcome some of you who've been watching Arizona, Iowa. Our score is 68-64, Kansas State. Arizona leads Iowa by 8, 46-38. We have 1:42 remaining in this game. K-State overcame a 9-point halftime deficit to go on top for the first time at 46-44. KSU with 2 timeouts left, with Purdue with 3, no fouls to give, and the possession arrow points toward Purdue. And Ron Meyer at the line. He's a 68% free throw shooter. K-State has not been at the line much. They're now 5 of 8 for the night. In contrast, that man's team is 9 of 15.
They really have not taken the ball to the hoop an awful lot, except McCoy. And Richmond has been jumping over people, so nobody's even come close to getting a hand on him. But I'll tell you right now, Purdue has got to find something inside.
Or Stevens' three-pointer.
All right.
Lead is 2.
Total deny right now. And they may just have trouble getting the ball inbounds, and they're forced to call a timeout.
They call timeout just before the 5 seconds elapsed. Katie wanted the turnover called.
Now, that was a good planned strategy that time. Total deny. That's the first time that Purdue's shown that type of defense in this ball game. And Bledsoe just could not find an open man. Would bring Mitchell up.
Back to Richmond. Quickly over to Steve Henson. Guarded by Everett Stevens. The clock shows 1:20.
It's important they don't foul right now. They're going to get another possession. And K-State really has to come up with a good shot. That's tough to do if you're going to bring the clock down to about 5 or 6 seconds.
Shot clock at 20 right now. And an even minute in the game. Foul, Kip Jones. That will send Charles Bledsoe to the line, and they couldn't have picked a better man. If you're a Purdue fan, Bledsoe hitting 52% from the free throw line for the year. 57 of 109.
Well, they're going to gamble on that situation that Bledsoe will not make the fouls. They were going to get another shot at the basket if they played good defense, but they want to ensure themselves another possession and play the percentage that this man will miss the front end of a one-on-one.
And he did. Lewis rebound. Purdue with a chance for the tie or the lead.
And Mitchell is back in the ball game for Kip Jones.
Stevens fakes the three-pointer. They try and free up Lewis. That's off Bledsoe. Purdue ball, 44 seconds to go. And a fresh 45, which means the shot clock is now off. 44 seconds remaining.
There are 4 of them. So who do you defend?
They try and free up Stevens. Timeout. That's the last Purdue timeout. They couldn't find an open man. They use a timeout. We're going back to
The ball, which wasn't so easy the last trip. They're going to let Troy Lewis inbound at this time. And they're going to put Henson on him to try and distract him.
McCants gets the ball. And we're at the 40-second mark. Stevens kicks out. They look for Mitchell underneath. Fighting for position, stolen by Bledsoe.
Just a bad pass by Stevens. As Bledsoe was on the top side, the angle was not good for the pass. Take a look. When you pass from that side, I watch Bledsoe just step up on top and pick it away. You got to put it away, the pass to the away side of the defender. And Mitchell just let him come over the top.
Again, Bledsoe goes to the line where he is a 52% free throw shooter over the course of the season. He's been there 110 times. He's hit 57.
Let's look at his eyes.
Oh, boy.
I want to tell you, he walked away from the foul line that time after he made it with wonderment in his eyes. Did I do that?
seconds to go. And Purdue is a good three-point shooting team. But Stevens loses the ball.
Number 30, Kip Jones in for Purdue.
That's the 9th Purdue turnover in this half.
Well, undoubtedly, somebody will try and foul Bledsoe once again or make a steal.
Hanson fouled by Troy Lewis. Now they fouled the wrong guy. Here's the #1 free throw shooter in the United States, Steve Henson.
Number 12, Henson shooting for Kansas State.
For the season is hitting 109 of 118, but he missed his first two in tournament competition down in South Bend last week.
He's the guy that says thank you to the referee every time he shoots a free throw, right? When the referee delivers him the ball. Yeah, he did. Thank you.
He's only missed 9 all season. He's shooting 1 and 1.
What a tremendous win. That Gene Gady just sitting there saying, I really don't believe that we played as poorly as we did, but Kansas State helped them play poorly.
Five-point lead. 17 seconds left. Mitchell. Back to Stevens. Nailed it. Stevens started to call timeout. They are out of timeouts. 4 seconds to go. And a foul on Tony Jones will send Richmond to the line. A 2-point lead with 3 seconds remaining.
What a ball game this has been.
Purdue foul number 25,
Kansas State
Tony
showed
Jones,
so
his
much
fourth.
poise in this game, ran their offense. Will Scott played beautifully. And I think Richmond is the architect of this victory as we're looking at a very disconsolate mother,
Number 23,
Everett
Richmond
Stevens.
shooting 1 and 1.
Richmond 4 of
Number
6
30,
tonight.
Kip Jones in for Purdue.
26 points. Todd Mitchell goes out for what might be the final time. Richmond 79% for the season, 4 of 6 this evening. That is Lisa Cady, Gene's daughter.
Well, Gene Cady knows how to win, and I'll bet you he knows how to lose.
A three-pointer could tie it. Time has expired.
Finish of Arizona now trying to open up a big lead there over Iowa. Brent Musburger and Billy Packer with the call from the Kingdom.
So one #1 seed falls by the wayside, but 3 are still in action. And here the top gun in the West, Arizona, extremely impressive against Iowa. Arizona in the home whites, Steve Kerr missing a 3. Ball goes out of bounds, and certainly, Billy Packer, I know you've got some thoughts on this great win by Kansas State here tonight.
That really shocked me. I thought Purdue would be the team that was most likely to get to the Final Four after you saw the regional pairings, but Kansas State has played tough all year long. They were able to keep that score down there, played a tough zone, and maybe Mitch Richmond had the big game tonight. I don't know, not having seen it.
So this could be Black Friday as far as the Big Ten is concerned. Already Michigan has lost to North Carolina. Purdue ousted by Kansas State. Here Iowa's in deep trouble against Arizona as McMillan misses the shot. The commissioner of the Big Ten, Wayne Duke, is seated over across the way watching. He's probably in shock right now. His Marble spin to Moe for the field goal. Now, Arizona went on a 28 run for their coach, Lute Olson, over a 6-minute span to blow it open here in the second half. If you haven't seen this team, it is a fine team, and I emphasize that particular word, Billy.
I would agree with you, Brent. It is a team, and both offensively and defensively. You know, you've got a lot of guys been starting for a long time out here on this ball club, playing well together, and now that Kerr's in the lineup this year, they just know where they're supposed to be. Each guy is a threat offensively, and they all pass the ball extremely well.
You can see how well Arizona has shot in the second half and what they've done over the last 8 minutes. And now, because I was already over the limit, that puts Arizona in the 1-1. Now, the great floor leader of this team will be coming up to the free throw line, and that is Steve Kerr. Many of you are familiar with his remarkable story and the terrible assassination of his father, who became the president of American University in Beirut, Lebanon. His mother tonight, with another brother, is in Cairo, Egypt. There is no television, obviously, and unless there's Armed Forces radio, she will not know how Arizona does until Steve calls her at the conclusion of this game. Now it's B.J. Armstrong, the talented point guard for Iowa, getting back 2 of them. The Hawkeyes are undersized in this particular game, giving away inch after inch on the inside. They have played their hearts out, but there is so much talent on this Arizona team. Remember, they are #1 seed in the West as Sean Elliott's the big gun. What about Sean Elliott, Billy Packer? For those who haven't seen much of him, what kind of a player is he?
Well, offensively, he's just superlative. I think Jerry Tarkanian put it best as far as I'm concerned when he said to me, Billy, he's the one guy in the tournament when everything breaks down, he can still beat you with a one-on-one offensive move. I saw him do it to knock off UCLA in a big game at their place. He hasn't disappointed us here tonight.
Howard gets inside. Hill gets for the easy field goal that time. 5:75:59. 7:20. This is Elliott with the knee brace. He wears that as a precautionary measure. The knee not bothering him. He's only a junior. As he told us earlier on the broadcast, he definitely will return to Arizona his senior year. Anthony Cook, who just did that turnaround, Billy, I find him the underrated member of this team.
Well, of course, he's one of their top scorers. He is so quick on the inside with that drop step, as he just showed right there, and a good shot blocker. Has 75 shots that he's blocked on the year. It's a great all-around ball club.
Armstrong dishing to Hill.
Now, what Lute Olson's finding now, and what he doesn't like, however, is his team is just trading baskets. They haven't shut Iowa down on the defensive end of the floor.
Dr. Tom Davis, the Iowa coach, employing that familiar baseline-to-baseline defense. Elliott's left alone, misses the 3, and it's off Iowa's hands. Arizona gets a second chance, and Lute Olson right now wants a timeout. He'll talk to his talented Wildcat team here. That'll allow us to take a break, and then we'll come back as Lute Olson and Arizona solidly in command. Does this Arizona team match up with North Carolina if we want to look down the road at all?
Well, North Carolina has a little bit more bulk and power, but this is a better passing team. Matter of fact, this is one of the best passing teams in the country when you consider all 5 guys are capable of getting in the offense.
Colbert, the center, very impressive for his size. He is a former junior college football player who transferred down to Arizona out of Cerritos Junior College, and he is the postman. He'll step outside and take a jump shot, too. And now that's 5 fouls against Horton, so Horton leaves, and they're shorthanded to begin with underneath, and now they've lost another man. So it's a very tough time here for Tom Davis.
You know what's interesting about this Tom Davis team? We talked about 3 players being drafted off of last year's club in the NBA. He's been at Iowa for 2 years, and there is yet to be a player that he's recruited that's played 1 second for this team. But he does have 5 freshmen sitting out, plus 2 transfers for next year. So he'll be back in the thick of things.
He apparently has a lot of good talent joining this team.
And Marble's back and Armstrong's back, but they faced a veteran ball club here tonight that's an outstanding team. Reminds me a little bit of Indiana in '76 when they won the national championship, having not had an opportunity in '75 to go when they got beat by Kentucky. This team has still got a lot ahead of them as far as what they want to accomplish.
That was Moe ringing the bell for the 3-pointer for the Hawkeyes, Billy, and now we can watch that Iowa press that Tom Davis is in love with. Is Tom Davis another of those who watched UCLA when he was a youngster and fell in love with the full-court press employed by John Wooden?
I don't really know where he is. You know, Tom was at the University of Maryland as an assistant. He went to Lafayette College, and I think that he's just a student of the game. Has probably assembled his game plan over the years. You know what his PhD was in? Athletics in Colonial, Virginia, and Massachusetts. How would you like to read that one, huh?
Study about a lot of horsemen.
Well, I guess not much basketball in that thesis.
Force a turnover down here. This is B.J. Armstrong there with his back to you, number 10. That's the first Arizona turnover this half. They're a remarkable team in protecting the ball. Offensive foul on the clear out, and that is 4 fouls on Hill. They'll have to move Armstrong to center if they keep using the big trucks here to the foul problem.
Well, he may come in with some of his real size, inexperienced size, however, in Jepson. He's got a 7'1" man from sitting on the bench, but certainly not a match for these experienced Arizona big people. Colbert
Away from it.
Yeah, he tried to run before he caught it.
Offensive rebound in a basket. That's Jones, who was forced to play up front. He was a point guard, backup point guard to B.J. Armstrong last year, and then graduation and injuries.
And he was forced with that Lorenzen injury to go down inside, where he just doesn't have the size to play.
Great one-on-one player, Sean Elliott. Stayed right with it patiently and then found the open man. I'll tell you, so many players would have pulled the trigger on that shot right there when he stepped inside. But instead, Elliott found a teammate who was even more open than he was.
They've done it all night long, and the thing that is so tough is that every guy can make the pass, and no matter who you pass it to, that fella's capable of scoring. Very talented.
Well, the Iowa women are still playing. Didn't I see that? I think that they're one of the 8 teams still remaining. Great program.
Vivian Stringer had them in the #1 position for a good portion of the season. You see it, Dan Gable didn't come back with another NCAA wrestling championship 2 years in a row after he had that stretch of 9 straight years. Incredible record.
He still works out only twice a day.
Well, what was it? Arizona State won the National Wrestling Championship. Didn't have a guy won an individual championship. You don't think of that part of the country having outstanding wrestling.
Oklahoma used to be great.
Oklahoma,
they used to do
Oklahoma
Iowa
State,
State a lot. Yeah, Oklahoma State's had great wrestlers through the years. I think Oklahoma State has another terrific baseball team this year. They've got a new format of the baseball this year, Billy. Speaking of that, the championship game is going to be a single elimination on a Saturday afternoon. A double elimination until that.
Iowa just not capable inside to playing with this ball club tonight. It's just a matter of time.
Colbert was turning, missing that shot. B.J. Armstrong. John Thompson's been scouting B.J. Armstrong here while he's taking a look at players. He must be seriously considering him as a possible Olympian, Billy.
Well, I think he was looking at that combination, Gary Grant tonight and B.J. Armstrong, both of which have been touted as top point guards. But he might have seen one of Ramil Robinson in the first game.
Yeah. You know, one of the things they're going to have to consider is probably selecting some players who do not sign lucrative contracts. Some of the seniors who come out who might want to go on to NBA training camp. They've got some possible Olympians over in Europe playing basketball who have international experience. Here's Tolbert on a power move. Got a little too far that time. And Olsen wanted the foul call. He's very upset over there.
All Tolbert was trying to do on that play is draw the foul because he was too far into the basket to get off an easy shot.
Well, the #1 seeds lasted a long way until tonight, and Purdue has been knocked off by Kansas State, and I dare say that's the shocker of the tournament. I think it was a 29-point spread the first time they played. I certainly didn't give Kansas State much of a chance against Purdue tonight, Billy. I know you and I talked about it.
I think back at some of those matchups we've got for tomorrow, too. Temple, a team that's tough to prepare for in one day.
You bet. It's too bad that Mike Krzyzewski lost John Smith, however, with that broken hand. He'd probably miss him tomorrow in that game. Here's the outlet now. This is B.J. Armstrong.
Great crossover.
Boy, he saved it, didn't he? Nice move.
He's having a super game. There's the press. When they score, they've got an opportunity to go ahead and put that press on.
So we remind you tomorrow that our coverage begins at noon with skating. Then as far as basketball is concerned, that's the World Figure Skating Championships at noon. And then the road to the Final Four. We'll start our coverage a half hour, and of course another one of those championships. What do you think about Villanova? Can our friend Raleigh slow it down against that Oklahoma team? They're awfully impressive.
The last time he was in Birmingham, he came away with an opportunity to go to the Final Four. Beat North Carolina that particular Saturday or Sunday afternoon. Then went on to one of the big upsets of all time in the tournament, beating Georgetown in the final. But he should have his hands full with Billy Tubbs' club.
Yeah, Billy Tubbs' team. He went the JC route. Of course, that's the trail that Bob Knight followed to a championship last year when he brought in Keith Smart and Dean Garrett, and now Tubbs has gone that way. McMillan missing with the shot.
Kind of surprised Lute Olson doesn't go to his bench a little bit here. I think his guys are getting a little bored with this ball game. And of course, you have one day to rest, but
that's no longer the style of college basketball.
Well, Billy Tubbs sure doesn't go to that bench down this way. And
John Chaney didn't when he blew out Georgetown by 21 points last Sunday up in Hartford. Reeves coming in. Now Tom Davis will begin to use some fresh players over here. I see Jewell checking in over there.
Going to bring Mo back in the ball game. That's probably it for Armstrong and Jones tonight. Great game by B.J. Armstrong.
So Mark Jewell checking in as B.J. sits down. Sean Elliott looks a little bit like Tony Dorsett. You're right, Billy. I just saw that at the free throw line when he was standing up there young. You're absolutely right. He scored 16 of his 27 points this half.
Well, he explodes. He's like Mark Macon. You know, he can be quiet on you for 8-10 minutes, and all of a sudden he just gets a bundle. Nice play by Reeves.
It's a fabulous Arizona team. It's going to take a great Carolina effort to beat them.
Yeah, on that press, normally when you press a ball club, they will have at least one poor ball handler that they don't want to touch it. Some cases two, but Arizona just doesn't have a weakness against that press.
Billy, what about the fact that the bench for Arizona has a touch of cockiness about it?
Well, I would too if I only lost 2 ball games and won by an average of 24 points a game. And what's interesting, you know, the bench played very well when it got in there tonight. Lofton played well.
I just
Mason
wonder
played
if
well.
Lute Olson didn't go down to that bench and tell them, be careful not to show them up here. I just wonder, because that last little episode over there on the side, they were stroking each other pretty good, and you always want to be careful before you put down somebody you're burying, because you're always going to meet them again down the road. Steve Kerr goes into the press table, tried to get McMillan.
That was the right thing for both of them to do.
Knocked out of bounds, Iowa ball.
And Lute Olson with 1:31 to go doesn't look like he's going to that bench. He just looks nervous.
Maybe that's what the bench wanted to remind him of.
Yeah,
Can we get this here, Coach? We don't want to celebrate, we want to play.
Here comes Lofton into the ball game. No, Lute now is what, 3-0 against Iowa, his former team.
He's on the Oklahoma side of the draw, too, I guess. If he can get by North Carolina and Oklahoma beats Villanova, they would meet in Kansas City. That would be that side of that draw.
Well, McMillan going out. He had a very good second half after having to sit that whole good portion of the first half.
Mo bangs in the three-pointer. So it is a black Friday night for the Big Ten. Michigan beaten by North Carolina. Purdue upset by Kansas State. And Iowa will be eliminated by Arizona.
See, Dr. Tom called the timeout but didn't want to take it, so he just wanted to go right back and play on defense. Oh, and the referee said he's going to have to take the 2 minutes.
Timeout for Iowa.
Meanwhile, there'll be 3 Big 8 teams going to the regional finals. How about that? We'll be right back.
Every night while you're sleeping, UPS is maintaining its status as the only company that delivers overnight to every address coast to coast. And now we guarantee it. Introducing UPS Next Day Air Guarantee. And because we're so efficient, we'll still do it for up to half what other companies charge, which is guaranteed to cause our competition some sleepless nights. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Introducing new Extra Gold. Brewery fresh draft beer that'll get your attention. A full tilt taste with something extra that only one great draft beer can deliver. If you like to drink beer, I mean really like to drink beer, then run, don't walk to your favorite store and ask for new Extra Gold Draft. It's the biggest taste that's happened to beer since they put it in cans.
What would you get if you crossed an Oldsmobile like this with an Oldsmobile like this? You'd get an Oldsmobile that really cooks. Cutlass Calais with a remarkable Quad 4 engine.
Card for the regional finals will be filled with these impressive Wildcats of Arizona, the top gun in the West all year long, representing the Pac-10, bringing back a little prestige to that particular conference too.
A lot of prestige, and of the 16 teams that got in the NCAA tournament from the West, they're the only one left, but they have been very impressive representing their part of the country, not only in this tournament, but this entire year.
Iowa continues with that pressure defense. That's the first foul on Armstrong.
Kerr hurt himself a little bit there.
B.J. Armstrong, his first personal.
You really wonder why and what purpose does it serve to keep this starting lineup out there other than to get somebody hurt, fouled, or just a little bit more tired?
I think it's just a warning to Billy Tubbs. Two can play this game, big fella. Here I come.
Yeah, I don't
But first
understand.
you got to get through J.R. Reed.
1-1.
Somewhere tonight in Miami, Jimmy Johnson is smiling.
That's right.
Number 51, Lee Jepson, down to the lineup for the Hawkeyes.
There's a little size in there. Jepson coming in at 7'1". You know, you would think Kerr being a 60% plus three-point shooter would be like a 90% foul shooter, but he really is not that high up on the mark. He's shooting 82, which is good, but not sensational.
Well, they have whipped the team from the Big East. Now they've buried one from the Big Ten. And they'll take on the ACC on Sunday.
Did a pretty good
J.R.
job.
Reed against this bunch will be a good contest. So here are the 8 remaining teams that we'll go to the weekend with. 2 from Kansas. Not even the Wizard of Oz can believe that. Temple, Duke, Arizona, North Carolina, Oklahoma, and Villanova. 3 number 1 seeds left, and now Purdue is out. A lot of fans here from the Arizona area. And, of course, the Washington fans, being in the Pac-10, they have fallen in line behind Arizona also.
Well, my favorite to win it all, Brent, is no longer here. Purdue. I thought they'd take it all.
I am slowly becoming an Oklahoma man. However, this team here tonight has made a believer out of me. This is a good basketball team.
Here in Mason in the ballgame getting fouled, had a very good first half, a little bit that he played. You know, everybody's played well off the bench for this ball club. Bushler played well, Turner, Lofton.
You know, Lute Olson does an interesting thing when he recruits, Billy. He'll ask players on the team, would you like them to be a future teammate someday? He's actually turned down recruits that some of the present players where he's been have said to him, no, we don't really like him too well.
Not surprisingly, that's happened at a number of places. If you get a good program going, you want a guy that will fit in with your club personality-wise as well as his physical talents.
Well, that's been a spectacular job that Lute Olson has done down there at Arizona. I think anytime you can take a team that is down as far as they were and turn it around as quickly as he's done, and now on the verge of going to the Final Four,
Yet not only from a standpoint of the quality team, but everything is picked up. They sell out every game.
Fouls on number 33, Joe Turner.
He's got great TV and radio exposure down there. Just a first-class operation.
This is real big for Pac-10 basketball.
It's been a long time. What, 1980 when UCLA went to the Final Four? It's the farthest any Pac-10 team has gone.
Yeah, and then I think Washington went into a regional once in the Midwest. And was eliminated. I recall that was back in about 84, though, I think. That was when they had Shrimp and Velp on that team.
What do we have? A call here? An invisible call.
Clogged whistle.
That's right.
He swallowed the whistle with 21 seconds to go.
Good motions, though.
Well, now that you've had Purdue eliminated, I'm not going to let you get out of here with your new favorite.
A new favorite? Boy, I don't know. I do not know. You're Oklahoman, huh?
Yeah, I'll go Oklahoma, but I'm I'm as scared as you are.
I am, too. I have a night to reflect. You need a night to reflect. I'm going to back out.
Sunday, I'll ask.
All right. Then I only have to, then I can
That's
only
right.
be
You can
wrong
narrow the
3 ways.
field. Well, I guess that Ted Shaker and the boys back in New York have had a big night, huh? Switching around. Got a big one out of Kansas State and Purdue.
On number 20, Jeff Lowe. That's his third personal foul.
One of the things about this team, really, he wants another rap video.
It's a little
An intentional foul. Ken Lawson.
Southern Chow style.
You noticed in the pregame warm-up, you said to me, Brent, this team's got a little of that UCLA arrogance.
Yeah, they remind you warming up. Like UCLA always used to come out on the court. I'm talking about during the John Wooden years, and you just had a feeling that they knew they were going to win the ball game, and it wasn't an arrogance. It was just a confidence level, a relaxed confidence. And they possess a lot of the same things. And I'm not going to say they're UCLA, but it's stacked that way.
Yeah, I think Kareem could probably make this team. It's a great hustle there by a heck of a volleyball player. Bushler, number 35. 1992, they tell me he might be on the United States Olympic volleyball team. UCLA wanted him, too.
Oh, look at this, huh?
3-point shot. Harvey Mason at the buzzer hits a three. They run to 99-79 over Iowa. Arizona moves on to the regional final, where they'll take on the Tar Heels of North Carolina. I'm Brent Musburger with Billy Packer, and we're going to be sending you to Jim Nance along the network here in just a moment.
You're going to get a lesson about intimidation.
There are 3 nevers in sportscasting. Never wear your best suit to a locker room celebration. Never yell it's out of here before it's out of here. And even if you have to say Biancalana de Beniques to Balboni, never, never let them see you sweat.
Introducing Dry Idea for Men, the most powerful wetness protection available to man.
Sweat belongs on the ball field, not in the broadcast booth.
New Dry Idea for Men in sports scent and classic scent. Never let them see you sweat.
At State Farm, service is everything. I know. I'm State Farm agent Mike Newmarker. Take the time someone dented Shelley Bacon's new car. When she called me, she was really upset. I told her there was nothing to worry about and had our claims people see the damage.
She couldn't believe how simple we made it. No hassles, no running around town, and when she drove out, she was smiling again.
Teamwork. That's what makes State Farm service one of a kind. For auto, home, life, or health.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Along with James Brown here in New York, I'm Jim Nance, winding things up on a Friday night. It was not a good night for the Big Ten, James, with Michigan, Purdue, and Iowa all going down to defeat. And tonight, in the final game, it was Iowa losing to Arizona as the Wildcats made 11 three-pointers in that ball game. The Chevy MVPs from that contest, B.J. Armstrong for the Hawkeyes and Sean Elliott with 27 points for Arizona as the Wildcats continue to impress and advance on now into the round of 8. One thing we're sure of, we're going to have a team from either Kansas or Kansas State going to Kansas City.
No question about that. I like the fact that each of those teams, Kansas State and Kansas, follow the lead of their respective stars. In the case of Kansas State, it was Mitch Richmond, of course, and Danny Manning for Kansas. Let me underscore your point about the big evening for the Big 8. Kansas, behind the 38 points of Danny Manning, knocked off Vanderbilt 77-64. They, of course, will meet Kansas State now in the Midwest Regional Final. That's because Kansas State pulled the upset of the evening, knocking off Purdue 73-70. Big evening for Mitch Richmond, 27 points, 11 rebounds. Meanwhile, out in the West Regional Final, semifinal action that is, it was North Carolina on top of Michigan, 78-69. J.R. Reed, 18 points. Scott Williams, 16 there. It's going to be an interesting matchup between North Carolina and Arizona. I think two extremely well-coached teams.
It'll be a great game. So the ingredients in the Final 8, 3 Big 8, 2 ACC, 1 Atlantic 10, 1 Big East, and 1 from the Pac-10. We'll come back and set the stage for tomorrow's lineup on CBS when we continue right after this.
I'll get it, Alex.
Mel's Market. Here's your order.
What order?
Side of beef.
I didn't order.
Here's your delivery, sir.
What delivery?
Your Stroh's 30 packs.
Stroh's. Alex?
Nah. Stroh's and Stroh Light. Fire brewed for smooth, consistent taste. And with 30 packs, you get more beer.
Pardon, just that shop. Here's your poodle.
Oh, Alex.
How would you like to drive a brand new Toyota Corolla FX or a new Toyota standard bed truck for about $99 a month? Special restrictions may apply. So hurry. For $99.41 a month, you can lease a brand new Toyota with the big extra no one else can offer. Toyota quality. Who could ask for anything more?
To create new words, you need to see in new ways. Be curious. Look at the problem from another direction. Commit yourself to the long term. Keep your mind open. Look for breakthrough ideas. From aerospace to healthcare, we're creating new worlds by seeing in new ways. BASF, the spirit of innovation.
At Pizza Hut, we make it fast.
We have time for lunch?
We make it hot.
It's gonna be hot, right?
And we make it great. Hey.
Making it fast, making it hot, giving it everything we've got. Making your style, give me a smile. Slicing it, biting, teasing, pleasing.
At Pizza Hut, we go all out to make it fast, hot, and delicious.
Making it happen, making your day. Pizza Hut, making it great.
Here's to the winners, those who move mountains. Here's to the miracles they make us see.
Holiday Inn welcomes you, the people who know that winning at life is working hard at it and living it fully day after day.
Here's to the winners, all of us can be.
Holiday Inn salutes you. Here's to the winners. We're on your way.
It's a busy sports day tomorrow here on CBS. It starts at noon Eastern with coverage of the World Figure Skating Championships. And then at 1:30 we have the road to the Final Four. And at 1:50 we'll tip off the coverage of Duke against Temple, the East Regional Championship. And that'll be followed by Villanova against Oklahoma for the Southeast Regional Championship. Well, it's been another busy night, and we see Purdue go down to defeat tonight the top seed there in the Midwest. For James Brown, I'm Jim Nance. We'll see you tomorrow as we start to find out for sure who's going to Kansas City.